7.5. Let's make this as painless as possible. So, like all the other lessons, we are building towards something, and today we are encountering what is called the product sum method. So, let's review pretty much what we already know. This is called standard form. So, every equation that you are going to be given, or every statement, I should say, is in this form in general or some transformation of it. So this is what we call standard form. It's usually, a squared plus bx plus c. That's what this will look like. And those a, b, and c could be just about any number. And then we have factored form. So you, in the last couple lessons, have been putting standard form into factored form, or factored form into standard form, either with the chart or with foiling. So we expand standard form, to put factored form into standard form, we expand it by using the chart or foil. But today we are going to put standard into factored form. So we're going to do the reverse, and we're going to factor doing that. And we call that product sum method. So reviewing, product is two factors when multiplied together give you a number, and the sum is two addends. That's the two numbers that you call when you add things together, and they make a sum. Two numbers you add, two numbers you multiply. And those are going to be the same numbers, right? Just like we've encountered before. So in this instance, you will see the product will be 6 and the sum will be 5. So in your head, you can think, what two numbers do I multiply together to get 6 but add together to get 5? And those would be 3 and 2. I could write and there. It says and. All right. And what you will say using those numbers, when you put it back into factored form, it's going to look like this. X plus 3 and x plus 2. Right? Because if you foiled those, right, if you foiled them and you did x times x, x times 2, 3 times x, 3 times 2, it would come back to this form. So we're just turning it from one form into another. Let's try it again. The product, so which two numbers did I multiply together to get 12 and add together to get 7? And think really hard and you'll find that that would be 4 and 3, right? So my product is 12 and my sum is 7. And you can just fast forward through all these. Let's try and just knock these down. The product here is 15, the sum is 8. The product here is negative 10 and the sum is negative 3. Okay, so then let's go back and think which numbers did we multiply together to get 15 and add to get 8? You would find that that would be 3 and 5, right? Same thing here. The numbers that we had together would be, negative 5 and 2. Yeah, that makes sense. Negative 5 and 2. Positive 2. Right? And then every answer is going to wind up looking just like this. Right? Every answer for factored form is going to end up looking just like this. So let's go back to B for a second here, and we'll find in B, so we'll just have x plus 4, x plus 3. And again, if you foiled all those together, sorry, that says 4. If you foiled that together, you would come back to x squared plus 7x plus 12. Same thing here. X plus 3, x plus 5. Let's double check that what we are doing will work out to be the same, especially on this last one because it is a little more complicated. So let's check. We've got x minus 5 and then x plus 2. So we've got double rainbow on top, double rainbow on bottom. You will find that x times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. And negative 5 times positive 2 is negative 10. And if we add these all together, collecting like terms, you will find it's negative 3x minus 10. And oh my goodness, it's the same. So this does work. Let's move on to the last couple examples here. And let's do this. So we have the product is going to be negative 24. And the sum is going to be 2. So two numbers you add together to get 2 and multiply together to get negative 24. I know one of these has to be negative, right? One of these has to be negative because this is a positive and this is a negative. So that can't work out until one of them is a negative. But which one? So let's do some math here. It would make sense for 6 and 4 to be the numbers. 6 and 4 are the numbers, but you decide which one is negative by doing some quick addition. So if I do 6 plus negative 4, that makes sense, but does negative 6 plus 4 work? No, negative 6 plus 4 would give you negative 2. So this means that this has to be negative 4. You set up your question here, x minus 4, and then you can double check if you're right by foiling it out. Right? That you can always double check to see if you're right. Do that all the math and you'll find if it comes back to this, you got the correct answer. Let's do this last one and then move on to the word problem here. All right, again, product is 18. The product is almost always going to be this little guy by himself over here, or lady, and the sum is negative 9. And the numbers there, if you multiply together, gives you a positive number, but if you add them, gives negative. That makes sense that they would both be negative numbers. But which two numbers add to get 9 and multiply to get 18? That would be 6 and 3. So what the answer looks like when you're all done is this. And you'll find that these are the solutions on D2L already. I just thought I would walk you through them so you knew what the heck I was talking about. All right, let's take a look at this guy here now, the final bit for 3.5 today. X squared minus 9x plus 20. It says find the binomials, and this is a binomial, that will give you the length and the width. So it's just asking you to do the exact same thing again. So I'll do it in blue just to have a nicer color. So again, multiply together to get some number, add together to get another. What numbers multiply together to give you 20, but add together to give you negative 9, which tells you that they should both be negative. And those two numbers, if you did the math, would be 5 and 4. Right? You add those together to get negative 9, multiply together to get positive 20, which tells you that area equals this times this. Okay? So it says find the binomials that represent that. Those are my binomials. And if you FOIL it out, you'll find that that is exactly correct. So if x equals 15 centimeters, what is the area? All you have to do is plug that into this equation here and multiply it out, and you will find that your answer should wind up being 110 centimeters squared. And the way that I got that is very simple. If you plug in 15 here and 15 here, that makes sense that it would be 15 minus 5 is 10, times 15 minus 4 is 11, and 11 times 10 is 110 centimeters. And since it's area, it is squared. Okay, enjoy. The homework is already up. Take a look at that and try it out.